Welcome back to Advice Pod. My name is Kyle. This is Ray Sean.
Yo, what's good?
And this is our friend Dave. Dave, what's good, man? We are fighting some people today, hypothetically speaking. This is an r/hypothetical situation. You get the chance to fist fight anyone in history, past or present. If you win, you get to take their place in history. However, if you lose, you are forced to go back to that time period as a hobo or the equivalent of a hobo, but will be unable to alter history in any significant way. There's no getting beat up by Hitler and then killing him when you're sent back in time.
Okay, I got a good one.
They get prep time. You do not. Not even some jumping jacks to warm up before. For example, if you beat up Abraham Lincoln, which you could not do, you get to take his place as the president during the Civil War. Edit. You take the gender of whatever person you fight if you end up winning. You can pick the age of the person that you fight, but just know I can and will judge you for wimping out. Fight them at their prime for the glory.
I got a good one.
What you got, Ray? What you got?
I feel like this is hard.
I'm going all the way back. I gotta go all the way back to the
Christopher Columbus.
No,
Jesus.
I'm going back to that time, but to a motherfucker that started the all bullshit down. You got to look over your shoulder because you never know, because you can't trust everybody. I gotta go one-on-one with Judah, because this motherfucker is
with who?
Judah.
Judas. Because I think Judah is also a person. So okay.
Yeah, I thought you said Judah with an H, not Judas with an S.
Okay.
So you're gonna fuck up Judas. Tell us why.
I feel like my whole energy went down now.
Sorry. So sorry.
What the fuck, man? You can't say Judah. Does that motherfucker hang out with a whale or whatever?
Yeah.
That's Noah. Oh, no.
Is it?
I don't know, man.
Don't you come from a religious family, Ray Sean?
A little bit. It's a lot. Oh, yeah. Well, that's actually true. A lot of people are pastors in my family.
All right. Why are we whooping on Judas?
Because he's a piece of shit, you know?
All right. So now that you are Judas, presumably you whoop his ass. He's probably a fucking emaciated, young, skinny person. I don't fucking know.
He'd be like a skinny, like, sand.
I mean, he's
like, hey, nice catch though. Nice catch. He might be like skinny
Middle
jacked,
Eastern.
You know what I mean?
He's definitely less fed than us.
Yeah, I would be able to give him a nice run for his money. Then I get to take his spot and be best friends with Jesus. You know what I mean? That's lit.
So what happens when you become best friends with Jesus?
Do you have to fulfill their prophecy, or do you just live?
No, I don't have to. No, you're changing that shit.
You do your own thing. Yeah, you whoop their ass. You get to do your own thing.
I look at God and be like, I look at Jesus and be like, yeah, I took care of that punk shit.
All right,
you don't got to worry about you. You don't got to worry about that motherfucker snitching and doing some bullshit. Got them Roman people got you tied up.
Oh shit!
I took care of that motherfucker. Slit his throat, put him in the grave.
Now you got Dave thinking. I'll go next only because I don't want Dave to have to rush out his fucking thoughts. My thoughts. I saw this post and I was like, I know immediately. Do you have any guesses, Rayshon, as to who I'm going to square up with in this fucking hypothetical?
Oh, George Bush or something? Clinton? Ronald Reagan?
Third one's the charm, dude. Ronald Reagan. I am beating the living shit out of Ronald Reagan circa late November 1979. So presumably right after he wins his presidential election, become president in 1980. Now, why am I doing this?
The Reaganomics.
The first thing is, one, he would be, I looked it up, he was born in 1911. This bitch would be 68 years old by this point in time. I can definitely beat the living fuck out of a 68-year-old man, especially a little prima donna fucking movie Hollywood bitch like Ronald Reagan. He get his ass in.
I feel like this is a hard one.
Why is that a hard one?
The only reason why I say this is a hard one, because if he's the president, you make it seem like you're going to be able to get a one-on-one with him.
President-elect, okay? Ronald Reagan has prep time. He knows I'm coming to fight him. And if he knows I'm coming to fight him, that means he knows that he should be fucking scared. I don't even think he's got the full Secret Service in swing yet. Never mind the
If I
fact
got
that he
Secret
hasn't been.
Service, you ain't touching me. I won't even worry
Bro,
about
they
you.
were shooting at that motherfucker in 1981. I'm going to get there before the 1982 people get there who like really drilled down and figured out the security shit. I'm getting there in 1979, president-elect status. You can win the election all you want because that's great because I'm going to whoop your ass and now I'm going to become Ronald Reagan. Why are we beating the shit out of Ronald Reagan, folks? Reaganomics, the whole idea of trickle-down economics, is one of the biggest goddamn myths this country has ever had to forego, and it has made this country an infinitely worse place over the last 40 fucking years. The idea that if we just give all of the money to all of the rich people, they're going to be so nice and charitable about it because, you know, they've amassed this fucking wealth somehow, right? Probably by being charitable and giving it away to people. They're going to have so much extra money. They're going to have no choice but to give away more money and more positions and more jobs. This is going to trickle down to the lower class economy until we change the actual fucking business tax rate. It used to be like in the 40s, like literally like 60 fucking percent or something like that. So you had genuine incentive to reinvest back into your business. I think Reagan cut it down to something like 28%. I didn't write that shit down, but that's just the fucking tip of the iceberg. Everyone thinks I'm going to talk about Reaganomics, trickle down bullshit. How's about the CIA literally started to sell crack rock in the fucking hood because they knew that it was super, like, however much more addictive than it was than regular old cocaine because it goes directly to your brain. All of a sudden, he's giving fucking crack rock out to the goddamn hood in 1984. So just getting a generation of black people addicted to crack. Okay, also really terrible. Did you know Ronald Reagan actually dropped a motherfucking bomb on one goddamn house in Philadelphia in 1985? Like literally blew up an entire fucking neighborhood in Philadelphia. It's called the Move bombing in 1985. Just check it out. But this is
I
the
gotta
thing.
see what the reason was. He might have had a good reason.
Yeah, look it up. You have to know the reason as to why your president would blow up a goddamn apartment building / entire neighborhood, right? Look it up.
He probably told him to move it.
Look it up. But the thing that bothers me the most somehow, because I'm a white dude and none of that shit directly impacts me except the fucking transfer of wealth from a middle class to an already thriving upper class. One of the most underrated things that Ronald Reagan undid was he eliminated what they called the fairness doctrine. Do you guys know what the fairness doctrine is?
No.
Fairness doctrine, back when they used to have like 3 networks, like NBC, ABC, and NBC, ABC, CBS.
Oh, something to do with Disney.
No, it's something to do with just news and how you put information out to the world. So in order to not risk like monopolizing on any of those channels, those 3 major networks at the time, what they had to do was they put in what they called the fairness doctrine, wherein you had to give at least X amount of time to the opposing view of any particular subject that you may have been ranting about at your news network at night. So the other thing that the fairness doctrine did was they also made it so that you didn't necessarily have to bring up any matters that were of an immediate concern to the public. Those are the 2 things with the fairness doctrine. Give equal time to the other side. And if it's something that impacts the public writ large, you should be able to allocate time to it. He got rid of that shit. The reason he got rid of that shit was because he fucking visioned a thing like Fox News would come, like 15 years later, wherein it's a media network completely devoted to one side of an ideology, thus radicalizing some people to do some extreme shit. It also gives way to, and the thing about the fairness doctrine now, as we talk about it in 2024, is there's basically no way to be able to put this back into fucking Pandora's box at all. And the reason is because of shit like we do, where we sit on the internet and we talk shit and we make podcasts. We're expressing views. I'm talking about how I literally want to fist fucking fight the demon that is Ronald Reagan right now. If the fairness doctrine was still in play, I could talk about that. But then I have to be like, but also Dukakis or whoever the fuck he ran against, what a shit show. like I'd have to give equal time to the other side. The elimination of the fairness doctrine enabled an environment where you could have these information silos and these echo chambers wherein people will become radicalized because they only hear one side of a story and it's a side that they want you to know. And it has, in a lot of cases, no particular direct impact on you as a person, but because they keep shoving it in your face, oh, the border is a crisis. Meanwhile, you live in fucking Minnesota or like somewhere in the middle of the country where it's not a crisis, but they make you think that it is, and it makes you radicalized to the point where you want to try to quote unquote do something about it. All of that shit stems directly from Ronald Reagan. So I am going back in time to 1979, and I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of that geriatric piece of shit. And then I'll become the president, and I just won't do any of the things that I just outlined because I don't know. Imagine 8 years of fucking like continued. Well, I guess the late 70s under Carter were pretty fucking terrible. Either way, I probably wouldn't have put crack in the hood and dropped a bomb on Philadelphia. So I've already got that working in my favor. Dave, what do you think? Who you fist fighting?
All right. I came up with a really, really easy answer.
Is it Jesus?
I thought about that earlier, but I don't want to take his place. That seems like a whole list of things.
Seems like a whole list of bullshit. I'm not trying to get crucified.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I can avoid some of the shit that he went through. God knows he'd probably try. But I think I would go punch Howard Hughes, the millionaire guy who, like, I think this is the guy I'm thinking of. He was like really rich, and he was like super paranoid of everyone, so he never did anything, touched anything, and I feel like I could take him on at his prime, at the peak of his empire, and there would be nothing he could do.
He would probably throw a piss bottle at you. Howard Hughes loved to piss in bottles. That would be his first line in defense. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
This is hot piss from 6 months ago.
Yeah, I just had to put up with a scrappy fight for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, man. All right, so
I ball them up like paper.
I pitched this sketch idea in class a few weeks ago of the Expendables, like the latest Expendables movie, but like they've done so many Expendables movies by this point that they have to get like some B-list people who basically they're expendable in that they get killed at some point in the movie. Like the entire shift,
they're expendable to the Expendables.
Exactly. So like maybe you got Arnold or like Sylvester Stallone in there, but like the remaining 8 cast members, it's like fucking Urkel. Or like somebody who, if they got gunned down on screen or some shit, they're like, whatever, they were expendable. Kind of a long way to get there, but I feel like we've started our own new Expendables team wherein we're only teaming them up so that way we can eventually jump them and curb stomp them. And the first 3 people in the gang are Judas, Ronald Reagan, and Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes had them fingernails though, dude. He might claw your eyes out.
I still feel like that's the best that's the best risk to reward ratio I can possibly think of. I was originally going to say, like, you can't really go wrong with Hitler unless you really go wrong and you die and you lose, and then you're just like,
and you're known as the guy that lost to Hitler.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm thinking about,
here's the other thing, dude. If you lose to Hitler, you got to be a hobo in 1940s Germany, man, and they went through some rough stuff.
But if people knew that, like,
that beard,
this dude almost had it and he just didn't know how to throw a fucking uppercut, that would also piss me off.
I don't know, man. I feel like we've all operated from the stance that we'll automatically win our fights, and I am definitely beating the living fucking shit out of a 68-year-old Ronald Reagan without any effort, but I will put a lot of effort into it just so that way him and his people get the fucking message. You guys, though, Judas, Howard Hughes with his nails and his piss bottles, I'm kind of worried about your outcomes here. If you got to be
worried about Howard Hughes. Hitler,
I'm not worried about mine. Have you looked at the textbooks of how people looked at that time? Hunchback? Karate kicked his dick off his body, bro.
Snap Judas in half. Yeah, Judas didn't a chance.
They'll be surprised when they see me. They'd be like, "That's a perfect human." Like, what the hell? The fuck?
Goliath is back.
Fucking head off of his body. Oh man. But let us know down in the comments below how you feel about your historical Mortal Kombat matchup and who are you beating the shit out of? And make sure that you win, because if you don't win, then you're going to be a hobo in the respective time period, and nobody wants that. So if you haven't liked the video, please do that. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the way to the next subscriber goal. And make sure you come on back tomorrow because we have another Am I the Asshole post. But it's kind of like a serious one, and I'm not sure why I ended the week this way. So let's not get sad, boys, okay?
All right.
Okay, you promised.
And
You
remember,
promised.
oh,
You promised. You fucking promised. And remember advice.
remember, advice. Boom.
That's not how we go.